quite good to have some rain. It feels good. I'm always happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it rains. Well, it is when I've got to do my laundry, which is today's job. There's some facilities here, but is there any, like, you know, for emptying the Elsan, you know, like the porta potties and the toilet, and rubbish facilities, sort of minimal recycling. But yeah, there's facilities here, but it's just no laundry and no laundrette for miles around. So I'm gonna have to drive to the nearest dry cleaners and see if they can do some kind of service wash for me. Not having a washing machine really does cost me sometimes. And here I am driving 5 miles just to get to a dry cleaners that are just going to send it off so I can collect it a week later. But I get to see this lovely town that the canal doesn't reach. You can't get this far. So yeah, good opportunity to have a look round and a good opportunity to visit the Stumble Inn. Has to be pub of the week because it's the only one that was really open the day that I was nosing around, and it's a real pub. It's got a pool table, it's got a jukebox, it's no frills, friendly, not too expensive, and none of that nonsense that apparently the other Poplington pubs have. So yeah, I did have a bit more footage from that, but I lost it somewhere, unfortunately. This happens when you're filming pub of the week. Anyway, let's see how far along this canal I can get my boat, considering that it's yet to be fully restored. One of the most remote canals on our network, the Poplington Canal in East Yorkshire. When it was opened in 1818, it was 9.5 miles long. It had 9 locks. Now it's more like 7 miles and only 4 locks. If I just move along the map from the Melbourne arm, we can see where we might reach some trouble. But for now, I'm going to take the turning back out onto the main branch of the canal and just see how far we can get. Who knows? I know there's no one coming, but I've got a beep anyway. Well, there might be, you never know. You never know when a boat might appear. Bloody hell, look how overgrown it is, it's amazing. There's a towpath there somewhere. I love exploring canals, especially ones where you might look at the map, but the actual journey itself, when you actually get there, it's completely different. I love that. It does make it difficult to plan. You really don't know how far you are going to get, but it's just a great challenge either way. There are certain things about the Poplington Canal that sets it apart from others. For me, it's the paddle gear that I'm operating here to let in water to the lock so I can go up to the next level. But it's also the abundant examples of nature just having a right old laugh. Hee, look at all the little froggies. Don't do it. Don't jump. Oh. Yeah, one of them has, and it's on my boat. There's frogs everywhere. There's one inside my weed hatch. He's trying to get out. Dude, you can't get out. You have to go down. Swim down. All sorts on my boat now. Look at that. How the hell did that get there? Some more rain. So there are other jobs I can get on with whilst I'm waiting for it to clear, including this one. This is my gearbox, so go forward and backward. You can see the lever there, that's reverse. And for each operation there's a chamber that needs a certain amount of oil. So reverse gear needs 1.2 litres and the reduction or forward gear needs 0.3. Removing the filler caps, it's not necessary before pumping the oil out, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm going to need access. And I can see the plate there, and it says it's an LH150 gearbox, and it requires SAE 80 or 90 gearbox oil going in there. But first I've got to pump it out. Oh, no, not in that hole. It's got the wrong hole. Oh, classic, eh, guys? So what I should be doing is putting my extraction tube down into the dipstick hole so I can remove the oil that way. I'm using a special vacuum oil and fluid extractor. This is a manual pump. You build up pressure, and once it's got enough pressure, it will suddenly start sucking that oil right out, and it goes into the canister here, which I can empty into a spare oil bottle, and then I can dump that at either a boatyard or a council run waste facility. I've emptied one of the chambers, now I'm going for the other one. So there's another dipstick. You can't quite see it, but the oil is looking a little bit dirty. There's a fair amount of oil in the bottom of my engine bay, and that'll have to be dealt with using a wet and dry vac instead, I think. It's hard work. I'm in a cramped space and it's a bit messy, so it's not an easy job, but it's well worth doing. And with all the reversing that I've had to be doing just to get the weed off of my propeller, I've been going backwards and forwards in the gears a lot more than normal, so even more important to have clean gear oil. I mean, logically it just makes sense. It's quite tricky getting the bottle in there. I'm glad that this one isn't full, but at the same time I'm not really sure which of these cylinders requires what amount of oil. So as the manual said, one is 0.3 litres, so that will fill up quicker than the other one, which is 1.2 litres, the reverse gear. So I'm just going to use the dipsticks to check periodically as I'm filling this up. Once again, it's hard for you to see, but I'm checking that and the level looks right. On to the next cylinder, and this is the one I'm just putting in 1.2 litres. That's all done, and I just need to check the dipstick before and after starting the engine. So obviously moving the gears around a little bit and checking it after that will give me the truest reading. I actually learned what happens when you don't put any oil in the gearbox when I first got my boat, because it was left empty when I bought it. So the first few locks were quite fun when I was going forward, but then suddenly couldn't go into reverse and slow down. Yeah, I'm glad I haven't got any footage of that. Anyway, now it's time to carry on exploring this remote canal. The rain has gone. I can see clearly now. It's my little poem for you. Did you like that? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Technically we're going over an aqueduct right now, but it's very, very small. Oh, where am I going? It sort of feels like I'm having to bully my way through all this beautiful nature. But then I've got to remind myself this was once built for boats. So, I don't know, so much wildlife everywhere. And I feel like the bad guy. I mean, look at me, wearing dark sunglasses, black shirt. You can see some canoeists up ahead, and it's definitely designed more for them than it is for me. And I certainly would not want to see another narrowboat come the other way. Or, because they're all wide locks, a wide beam. Can you imagine? Just no way. This canal is definitely designed more for you guys than it is for me. Been quite good on this canal for moorings before the locks, before and after as well. But at this point I'm having to tie on to a canal river trust sign. Just hope the wash from the lock doesn't send it back down the canal. I'm not swimming in after it. Well, it's clean enough, you could do. So easy, I love that. That's the first time I've ever seen locks sort of almost padlocked together, or handcuff locked together. And also this lock has some boards you have to lift up as well, which I've only ever seen once before on the Ripon Canal. So that's interesting, isn't it? Hmm? Travelling along an ancient network of canals that's managed by a charity does sometimes mean, as a boater with a few tools, there are sometimes some jobs you can do to help out, but I wouldn't really recommend anyone just doing this sort of thing. But I saw a bolt that was loose and thought, oh well, might as well help out a little bit. And then this lock gate is operational again. Might be time to lose the dark sunglasses. Got some dark sky behind me. There's no way I'm getting through this bridge without help, so luckily there's some walkers here. I just have to throw my key to them so they can open the bridge. There goes nothing. Yeah, got it. Nice catch. Oh, fantastic. Good job. On some swing bridges they give you a chain so you can pull the bridge back across, but not on this one. Thanks so much. That's brilliant. Cheers. Oh, some good people about. There's a sign up ahead that says head of canal. Obviously not the original one, it's just this is how far I think they advise you to come. But there is a little arm that goes off the side here towards a village called Beelby. Oh, there's bloody horseflies. Absolute nightmare. Everywhere. Wow, this is a real hidden section of the canal system, this. Very shallow though, so I don't know how far I'll make it. Yeah, I think I'm stuck. So that is as far as my journey is going to take me. I want to go all the way down there, but Sadly, my boat's draft is too much, or indeed this little arm is too shallow. So, just got to reverse out and head back the way I came. Until next time. Until the next time this canal has been regenerated further. That the society is working on, but you can barely see it. All that overgrowth. That's the canal in there somewhere. And then on the side of this fence, you've got the lock that needs to be, well, at the moment it looks like it's trying to keep it propped up from falling inwards. You know, with a structure like that with no water in it, it's just going to be pushed over with the earth, surrounding earth. All those struts are just keeping the sides from literally falling in. And the Canal and River Trust, they've been along with their blue sign, but that seems to be about it. There are other notice boards here along this walk where you can actually find out more about the area. Like this one. When did the locks stop being used? By 1931, poor state of the locks prevented boats from travelling up to Canal Head. In 1932, the canal's last recorded commercial trade of cargo of roadstone was taken as far as the Melbourne arm. Will these locks ever be restored? Well, that is a good question. This on the map is what is left to restore. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locks before the Canal Head, which as we zoom in, didn't quite make it to Poplington. Just got stopped short of the A1079. But it's beautiful here. Check this out. We're almost at the end of the video now. So before I go, I just want to thank a few people for signing up to the Crank It crew. Yeah, it's still going. Yeah, Simon Midgley, Bruce Steele, Chloe Marina Dance, Hank F, Andy and Leslie on Narrowboat Capricious. They're producers, so they get little red flags. Mike Skelton, David Corlett, more red flags for him. James Annalay, David Richards, another producer, thank you David. Andy Pentelo, Judy Schwenker, Captain Tracy Bevan, nice little box for her, thank you Tracy. Tim Hill, another producer, Judy and Paul, Matt and Dave, and Michael Hydorn. Thank you all so much. Remember folks, without these people, I would probably still only put out a video every 2 months. No, they do keep me going, and so do scenes like this. I'm just going to leave you with this time lapse of one of my moorings on the Poplington Canal.